providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Caregiver Crossing.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. That is the voice of the lovely, the infamous, the sunshine of the morning,
Terry Stacy.
Wow, that wasn't very convincing.
Yeah, I know.
Terry Stacy, and I am I'm her co-host. I'm her little sidekick over here, Tina McIntosh, and we are in studio with our incredible producer. If you're loving the show, it's all because of Noah Taylor.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Go Noah. Go Noah.
I love when people say, like, that's a great question. I'm like, Noah's question. We're just saying we're just his puppets.
That's it.
We
We're
do
just
whatever he
reading a
tells us to
script.
do.
I mean, it works because we've got two wonderful hosts here.
Oh boy, that's a lot of
Let's
love.
all say nice things about each other. You guys, what you don't understand, on the break, they were both telling me how much they hate me. So this is really special. So anyway, Caregiver Crossing is a show brought to you by Joy's House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. And we come to you every weekend, and you can catch us on podcast too. You can catch us on the joyshouse.org website. We come to you from the Joy's House studio to talk about all things caregiving. And this week is no exception. We're glad you're here. Anybody, before we dive into what special week this is, anything you want to share?
Happy May, if I may.
Oh my gosh, how is it May already?
It is May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
Anyway, it's May, and it's just a fantastic time. I love this
It
month.
is.
We have all things May happening here in Indianapolis, obviously. But it's a lot of other things too. I mean, you've got your graduations, you've got end of school, you've got the whole thing.
There's so much.
Mother's Day. Oh my gosh!
Mother's
don't
Day's
forget it's
coming up,
Mother's
too.
Day coming up, and
Yeah.
the 500.
Oh, the 500. We're very
500.
excited about that.
Yeah.
Do you go?
I do. Well, I like the snake pit.
Yeah, you do.
I love
but
the
you're
snake
young.
pit.
That is where to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm really not a huge fan of EDM music, but I mean, the environment.
What do you to
here
explain to
in
anybody that's never been in that third turn snake pit? A lot of us remember the olden days snake pit, which we like to say that you all really don't know a snake pit. A snake pit.
I was going to say the stories.
The snake pit is wild, but it wasn't nearly as wild
Well,
as the
first of
olden
all,
days.
nowadays, do people have clothes on?
Most of the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe, I
That's
mean, maybe a
different.
missing shirt or two.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
mostly fully clothed.
Yeah.
But explain what it's like to be there.
Well, it's really, I mean, the environment is incredible. You've already got, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people there
Is
at
it
the
500,000 or
IMS.
something like that,
Something
Terry? Is that right?
insane.
How many at the
Half a million?
If we sell it out, yep, it would be like 500,000.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so you've got 500,000 surrounding you, and then everybody's on the third turn, and they play music. They start right at like 8 a.m. with some heavy dubstep.
Yeah, they do.
The right way to wake up. And then they just keep playing music until kind of like the end of the race. And they've got some pretty big EDM names, if that's the music you're into.
Now, for the people in the back, dubstep and EDM, it's like boots and cats,
Yes.
and with some keyboard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Boots and cats.
Yeah.
Electronic
It's
dance
good
music.
stuff. I like dubstep, actually.
I'm not going to listen to it on my own, but I love any live music.
Well, no, because it makes you move, you bounce.
Right.
The whole
Do
crowd
you
is
even
bouncing.
know what's going on in the track?
They don't even know
I
there's
can
a
hear
race.
cars sometimes.
They're like, why is there a
Yeah,
helicopter?
I'm like, whoa, what are all these cars doing here?
Those people need to slow down. They're going too fast.
I'm sorry, you're going over the speed limit here.
I think the hope is that you will eventually turn into an Indy 500 fan as you age. That going to the track will be your tradition, and then as you get older and maybe don't want to go into that turn, you're still
Wait a
become a
minute.
fan.
Wait a minute. Do you mean I've been manipulated my whole life? Because
life.
now that you say it, this is your yes.
It's just to get you. It's a bait. I like to
took
call
the
it
bait.
third turn bait.
Okay. You know what else happens at the third turn? There are some accidents.
Yeah.
Not with the cars, hopefully, but with the EDM goers.
Yes.
With the dancers.
Absolutely.
Sprain ankles. Sometimes people don't hydrate with the right
Oh.
kind of fluids. And you know where you go?
The hospital, infield hospital.
And do you know who takes care of you there?
The nurses.
And you know what this week is?
Oh, is it Nurses Week?
It's National Nurses
oh my
Week.
gosh! Thank goodness, thank heavens, thank God for our nurses.
And we need more nurses.
Absolutely.
There's been a
So,
shortage for quite some time.
If you are listening, know somebody who you or someone else in your life is considering going into healthcare, particularly in the area of nursing, this is the time to do that. So the theme this year for National Nurses Week is the power of nurses, and that's spotlighting the essential role that they play in healthcare in the everyday lives of patients, families, caregivers. If you don't know your nurse at your doctor's office, get to know your nurse. He or she will become your best friend and really get you further in the care that you need for yourself and your loved one. And so, we're honoring nurses across the spectrum. If you were to guess where nurses are working, what would you say? Hospitals? We got that one, right?
Hospitals, doctors' offices, perhaps visiting nurses
Nice.
that go out and about and do nursing, nurses in nursing homes.
Yeah.
Hospice
else?
care.
You guys are
Senior
nailing it.
communities.
Yeah.
I'd like to have my own private nurse that lived downstairs in my basement.
Well, you could do that if you can afford it. If you're interested in being Terry's personal nurse, you can email me at tina@joycehouse.org. I'll hook you up.
Just for all things that happen during the day.
I mean, truly, each one of you is making a difference.
Truly.
For a long time, I thought I would marry an EMT or a nurse so that he could just make sure that when I'm like, I got to catch him my hip.
Right, like the president. He's
could
always
just
got
help
the
me
president
out.
always has a doctor nursing standing by.
That's right. So nurses, you're advocates and educators, and sometimes the very first and last faces that we see in this caregiving journey, and you really make a difference. I think there are over 5 million registered nurses in the United States, making it the largest healthcare profession. And Noah, that's a stat that you had given us. I didn't realize that.
Still not enough, though. I mean,
Still not enough.
So many more people need help than what we are offering right now.
I think during COVID, we really learned to appreciate nurses. I think
true.
we really understood because so many stories were told of nurses and sharing stories. And it was truly eye-opening to see what you all underwent during just that time of COVID, which is what you do every day.
Well, and that's it, right? Is
Right,
that
that's
we
what you were
saw
doing.
that and it was reported on in news, and yet every single day. And so there are a couple of ways we want to share that you can celebrate nurses in your life. One is you can simply just tell a story. Share a story, whether it's on social media or with somebody else, about a nurse who made a difference in your life and your loved one's life. And then another one is participate in Nurses Light Up the Sky, which is a national tribute where landmarks across the country will shine in honor of nurses. Do we know when they do that?
Well, I know
mean,
it's
this
during this
week?
week.
Yeah.
But I'll give some specific details on our Facebook there so some people can participate in that.
Really cool.
I'm so excited to see how that turns out.
I didn't know that was a thing. Is this the first time they've done it?
I'm not sure, actually.
I love that. Terry's looking it up. Hurry. You've got
I'm
10
trying.
seconds.
I'm not very fast.
Nurses Light Up the Sky. So landmarks across the country are going to shine in honor of nurses. Beautiful. All right, we've got to take a break. We want you to stick around because we will be right back.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. You can find past episodes of the show at joycehouse.org, and be sure to like and follow us on Facebook. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joyce House in partnership with Cardon & Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joyce House provides exceptional day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joyce House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by visiting joycehouse.org today. All right, stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Allie Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. We're your hosts, Tina McIntosh and Terry Stacy. And we're in here with Noah Taylor at the Joyce House Studio. Noah is our producer. If you know him, you love him. If you don't, you should. We are happy to welcome also Nick Roberts to Caregiver Crossing. Nick serves as the District 4 Councilor in Lawrence Township, and he brings a thoughtful, community-focused perspective to everything that he does. And in addition to the work that he does in the council, he also serves as the Director of Community Relations for the Lawrence Township Trustee's Office, and he volunteers with too many organizations for us to list here because his goal is really to make a difference. And so Nick is known for his commitment to listening, learning, and lifting up the people he serves. He also, by the way, is one of the youngest city councilmen. Is that right? Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we're really glad to have you for a meaningful conversation, and I don't think we're going to have enough time, so we're going to get into it. But Nick, hi.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Glad you're here. So you're clearly a Lawrence Township person, and you care about that community. Before we get into some of the questions that we had shared ahead of time, why? What makes you care so much about Lawrence?
Yeah, I mean, it's a cliche, but I've lived in the area my entire life. I think when you're from an area, you have a lot more investment in it. It's not just me. My grandparents, my grandma was literally in the first graduating class at Lawrence North. My mom had me while she was a student at Lawrence North. So I'm a third generation, resident of the area. And I think it's a lot more sentimental being able to work on things when it's in your own backyard, and there's that attachment. And it's a cliche, but politics and government can be really messy and really egotistical and really divisive. But when it's for the right reasons, it can be the most, worthwhile purpose, in my opinion, actually make a difference.
What has shocked you though, now that you're here and maybe trying to get things done? What has been a surprise to you in the challenges that are ahead of getting something done?
Yeah. And I think the positive part of it is, thankfully, this is probably a good answer. I think people are kinder and more reasonable than you might think. Obviously, I think especially politically, we look at the national politics, which is a bit of an interesting situation, and we think all the worst. But locally, it's a lot more reasonable. It's a lot more bipartisan. It's a lot more common sense, clearly. And I think people are usually willing to get things done. I think the process can be the most intimidating part of it. Obviously, our government is, and our laws are written by attorneys, and it's a complicated part of it. Every comma is argued in, right? When you're drafting policies and you are passing different ordinances dealing with different issues. So there are 25 of us as counselors. There's the mayor's office. There are department heads. There are a lot of players that have to get some buy-in. And of course, any issue that you have, there's always nonprofit partners and the private sector who have their thoughts on these different issues too. And you really want to hear from all the different, community partners on these issues. And it's very complicated, right? I think most people, of course, are well-intentioned, but with everyone coming in at once, you have to kind of block out the noise sometimes and stay focused on what you want to do. But it can be difficult when the process makes things so long to actually get things done. And it's for a reason, but you have to really be focused on what you want to do and what you want to see done in your community to get it done.
I think you touched on a few things that make me realize some conversations I've had recently about local. Things need to happen at the local level, period. Mm-hmm. I don't care where you sit. We're not a political show. I don't care where you sit on it. This is where we really make a difference.
It's really one of the most important places you can pay attention to is your local, your school board. But we don't. But I hope we're getting smarter in understanding that local is where we really need to focus oftentimes.
Agreed. So Nick, for you, in running, what were some areas of focus for you? Just give us a couple.
Yeah, really the top two are infrastructure and public safety. Obviously, infrastructure is self-explanatory. Our roads in Indianapolis are systemically underfunded for a variety of reasons. And this is the time of year where everyone notices it more than usual. And there's a lot of work on that. There's been a lot of big wins recently, not just in our area in the Northeast side, but also the way the state funds the roads has gotten a big improvement just in the last week. They have given they're giving the city basically an opportunity to raise an extra $150 million for roads, which is a game changer. It's been a huge win. That money is going to go to sidewalks, a lot of the different things that we all need. And then secondarily, of course, public safety, that you hear about all the time. I think everybody now is more hypersensitive to it than ever with Nextdoor and, Citizens and all these apps that there are, and even Facebook and the local news. Of course, even when crime is going down like it's been, people want to see results. They want to feel like they're in a safe area, and justifiably so. Everyone wants to. So we're really working on, of course, working with law enforcement to make sure they can hire the staff that are necessary to staff IMPD, the sheriff's office, the prosecutor's office, the fire department, all of that, because those are really the positions that make a big difference in the city. And there's other issues too, but for a sake of time, I'll just mention those two.
Well, and one of the things that I know you're interested in is livable. What's a livable city? The infrastructure is something that people overlook all the time too, right? I mean, we think it's about a hubcap, and really it's not. It's about getting from point A to point B. I mean, but livable city, especially when it comes to older adults, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, of course, a lot of the things that are the case for younger people and older people are the same. I actually have a very unique perspective. I don't think any of you know this, but actually, numbers-wise, I have the oldest city council district of 25, which is deeply ironic considering I am the youngest counselor.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of wealthier areas. A lot of the Geist area is a lot wealthier and older. A lot of the younger, hipper areas of the city, like Broad Ripple, a lot of areas downtown I don't have in my district. So it's just a different perspective. But honestly, I mean, I find that, of course, walkability is important too. I find safety isn't typically a issue that motivates older people more than younger people sometimes. I think, and there's, again, a variety of factors I think contribute to that, but it's for a good reason. Again, people want to feel safe when they go to the grocery store, feel safe going downtown. They want to feel safe going to Broad Ripple, wherever they end up at. I find that in general too, I think older people, and I hate to say it like this, get some issues better than younger people. I think they understand the importance of local politics. I mean, if you look at voting turnout for older people, I could not emphasize enough how much old. I mean, the average voter in my district was 62 for my election. Okay, 62.
Wow.
So, for these local elections where there's usually very low turnout, it's the older voters that make that happen, and I think they get a lot of political representation for that reason. I mean, people take that seriously, and I think it's kudos to them for knowing how important local elections are and contacting. When I get people contacting me about different issues, it's typically retirees and older people.
That's right.
The HOAs I speak at, the neighborhood associations I go to, the volunteering I do with cleanups, it's typically older people. And fair. I mean, that's
yeah, right.
It's I think they understand that part of it, how important getting involved on the grassroots side of it is for your community, for your politics, for your neighborhood, all of that, how important it is.
Well, and I think that that also goes back there. Richard Rohr, which is a hard word for me to say, but Rohr. He is an author that wrote, oh golly, I've just lost the name of the book. But his book that I love and can't remember the name is all about how the first 40 years are us, falling upward is the name, is all about us figuring out who we are, how we want to climb and whatever that means, planning our lives, looking forward, all that. The second 40 plus years is about what legacy do we want to leave behind and who do I want to raise up and how do I want to live out between now and dead? Quite frankly, how do I want to live out that time? And so it makes sense to me that people are paying more attention, Nick, to you and other people who are in government. They really realize I'm going to get out and be a part of making a difference. And they're probably also the ones who, when they say they want to help you and lift you up so that you can help impact the community, they mean it because that's where they are in life. And so I know we're going to have to take a break here in just a moment. When we come back, you've been really vocal about reimagining spaces. And that's part of the infrastructure too, right? And livability. And so I think one of those spaces that you've talked about is Castleton. I'm interested in that conversation because I think that what we do with areas like that will also dictate and help set precedents for what we do in other areas. And I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on that when we come back. So again, you're hearing our voices and the voice of our guest, who is the City Councilor District 4, Nick Roberts. And we're going to take a break, but we will be back in just a moment on Caregiver Crossing.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joyce House in partnership with Cardon & Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joyce House provides exceptional day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joyce House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by visiting joycehouse.org today. All right, stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing shortly.
Hey, welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. I was going to have Terry bring us in.
Here we
but
go.
I don't
Hi,
know what
welcome
she's
back
doing.
to Caregiver Crossing. I'm Terry. Tina. Noah's here.
What up?
In studio with us
Tina.
is City Councilor. Yeah, that's right. Did I screw it up? Do you want to do it again?
No, but you know what I do think is really important?
What?
Indianapolis City Councilor.
Indianapolis City Councilor. Right. Indianapolis City County Councilor is here. District 4. Nick Roberts is his name. I'm getting a first introduction, and it's just what a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
This guy is young and really has a fresh perspective, and I think that's what we need right now because, well, we can't lose, right? I mean, can't we do any worse?
Well, we need it. I mean, we need it, and we're glad you're doing it. And so-
Yeah, because many won't at your age to jump in. Let's talk about Castleton.
Yeah.
First, off air, we were just talking about the boundaries of what we consider as Lawrence. Castleton is something you're focused on right now and kind of reimagining what Castleton can look like. Tina has some very strong feelings about it, so I hope that what you say will be okay, or she's going to throw you off the show.
I will not. I respect anybody's perspective.
I do too.
I'm just curious about what does reimagining Castleton look like to you?
Yeah, so there's a lot to it. I mean, clearly, I grew up going to Castleton. I have multiple family owners who own businesses in the Castleton area. It's really important. Clearly, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We've been fortunate over even the last month or so. We've had 3 or 4 businesses go into some of the prominent empty storefronts in the area, which is a really good start. There's a new Japanese barbecue place on 86th Street. There's another new one going next to that, the old On the Border. There's a new dessert shop going on 82nd Street. So there are some popping up, which is great. But I think the issue really is just Castleton is an aged area. It was developed in the 70s and 80s when everyone drove cars everywhere, and it was big parking lots everywhere, and that was the fad back in the day. That doesn't really apply anymore. There are a lot of, even around the Castleton Square Mall area, which by most counts is doing very well. There are a lot of issues there, certainly. But if you literally go within the mall, I mean, almost every storefront's open. It's usually always busy. It's the most profitable it's ever been at the mall itself, which shocks a lot of people to hear about. But I think we need to obviously help, especially aesthetically, for the whole area. There needs to be a lot more cleanups, a lot more work going on. And there's good news. I think the best news we could ever have is the Nickel Plate Trail coming through the Castleton area, which is going to connect all the way from Fishers and Noblesville through Castleton, through Keystone to the fairgrounds. We actually just got good news about 2 months ago that we were getting a bridge over 82nd Street, which is going to be great. 96th Street's going to have one too. Keystone Avenue's going to have one here as well. So,
And you're talking about a bridge, meaning what would that look like?
For people to cross the trail, to cross in these main roads, because that's obviously, we all know, dangerous to cross a lot of main roads, especially for people that do mobility issues, right? They want to utilize these trails but may not be able to walk across them. But we have seen what trails do for areas of cities. The Monon obviously is another example of that. We saw what it did to Broad Ripple, Nora, other areas on the old north side that really developed a lot after the, Monon, that are still having economic development 20 years after the Monon was built. And I think Nickel Plate, we're hoping with properties that are along it will really have a similar trajectory where they can really, start being bought up by people who want to live on the Monon. I mean, Nickel Plate, it's a great way to live. I mean, on a trail, you really can't beat it. It's just such a great thing to have.
So you say that, and it makes me think, yes, the aesthetics of it are important too, right? Mm-hmm. Like what is there is critical, but there has to be a reason for people to get off the trail. So whatever it is that we collectively do as a community and under your leadership and others, I am behind 100% because it's like, okay, let's build this infrastructure. Let's make sure people want to stop there. Yep. And spend their money, spend their time, create their community, be a part of it all.
And feel safe.
And feel safe.
Castleton has been gone. Castleton has had its share of trouble, especially at the mall, over the last few years. But that's everywhere.
But that's the thing.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. And I think
you want to feel safe, though, when you go after hearing stuff like that.
Yeah. And I just always challenge people to be careful not to make up their own stories about whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because I take my niece who's 5.
Right. I still go too.
I take my grandmother-in-law who's 97. And we're all safe and all is well. But we tell ourselves these stories sometimes, or it's what we hear, even when it's based in truth. And so I love this kind of reimagination of that area, and can't wait to see it happen. That new exchange there is fantastic, by the way. I don't know if you love it or hate it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I
No,
am
yeah, it's good.
loving the new exchange. And I think that's going to bring us a lot of business in the Castleton area.
So
too.
I just want to also add to if, I live out just east of Washington Square. I've seen what's happened to
Yeah.
Washington Square. I've seen what's happened out to Lafayette Square. Castleton Square still remains strong, though. You believe that
Yes.
there's still people that want to go to the mall, and it has not suffered at all like the other malls have.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issues are more outside of the mall than inside the mall, honestly, in my opinion. I think a lot of it is just too many parking lots and not maintained properties, quite
Agreed.
frankly. I mean, and also, this shocks a lot of people when I tell them. When IMPD will come to community events, they will tell people, and this is something that's backed up in the facts, every crime metric has gone down in Castleton over the last 5 years, over the last 1
great.
year. I mean, it is
That
true.
is great.
And that's true across the city, but it counteracts, I think, a lot of the narrative. And I hate to say it, but a lot of those apps I was talking about earlier, Citizens, Nextdoor,
Yeah.
apps that get people immediate notifications, not always accurate. There are times people tell me about some Nextdoor post or Citizens post about some, violent crime in the community. And then I call IMPD about it. And like, well, that wasn't actually accurate. It happened in a different area of the city, or it was,
True.
those apps are very good. And I'll get it too on my email where it'll say, oh, your neighborhood has a crime incident. I'll click on it. It's like, oh, it was 20 miles away, right?
Yep.
But they all really prey on people's, I hate to say, fear and vulnerability.
It's true.
To really capitalize on that to get clicks and engagement. And the news does it too, of course. But I'm not saying that Castleton's safer to lose kind of a sense of getting things done, because we still need to work on and aggressively move forward and improve it. But it's just a fact that I think does illuminate that there is positive work going on, especially for all those businesses that are coming in. There is growth. We need to continue to work on that and really embrace that positive change.
You are hearing the voice of Nick Roberts, who's the Indianapolis City Councilor for District 4. We've only got a couple more minutes here, less than that. I also want to say we've got to keep those businesses like MCL in place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
Yes,
that's
yes.
a locally owned, wonderful food, and they are so good. If you are listening to this and you are a caregiver for someone in your life, take them to MCL. They will help you with everything you need there. I mean, those places are important. And as we are thinking about communities, Noah, I think we need to be considering who can we bring on the show to talk about how they're doing their business to work with caregiving families, I think would be important. So, all right, we're going to have you back at another point. You've been very open about mental health and why that's important. I want to talk about that with caregivers another day, because in 40 seconds or less, I'm going to ask you, you've had conversations with older adults and family caregivers, and I'm wondering if there's any moment that shifted how you think about policy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, every moment. I was raised by my grandparents and my great-grandparents. I was very lucky. I was raised with 4 generations in one house. Honestly, it was just every moment of my growing up. I can't really pinpoint one moment, but I lived with my great-grandparents when I was a child, which is a very, very rare experience to have. And, a lot of the time I spent with them was so formative in my entire life. A lot of the interests I have are things they kind of raised me on. And I just couldn't be more grateful for them, for all of that. And yeah, I feel very grateful for my grandparents, especially for all they did.
Nick Roberts and Noah Taylor, what we didn't say is you guys went to middle school together.
We did. We went to middle school and high school together.
Yes.
How was it for you, Noah, seeing what, we could talk all day long about the things you're accomplishing, but right now we're focused on Nick, right? And so no blackmailing stories about Noah.
I don't think I have any.
Hey, I think I went to sleep over your house once.
Yes.
I don't know if anything happened, but
Maybe some Cheetos at like 2 a.m.
Right. How is it for you to sit here and look at somebody that you've known
Really
since you
blessed
were
to have
mere
Nick
kids
as,
doing the
in
work
our
he's
community.
doing?
I mean, this is
helping
helping lead some change here.
thank you, Noah. You too.
Nick Roberts, thank you here. Thank you for being here. The rest of you, thank you for being here too. We're going to have to take a break, but you've been listening to Caregiver Crossing. We'll be back with you for a few minutes till the top of the hour. And we are a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Before we go, we do want to say thank you so much to our partners at Cardon and Associates. And if you want to learn more about them, you can certainly look them up, or you can get a hold of us. You can email me at tina@joycehouse.org, but we'd love to connect you. Great people. Stick around. We'll be back in just a moment. Oh, hey, we're back here in Caregiver
Hey.
Crossing. Tina, Terry,
Hi,
Noah.
Tina. How are you
Hello.
feeling, by the way?
I have a brain tumor.
I know. And
Do you know
just
why I
wondered
bring
how
it up?
things are well because it's brain tumor month.
Who knew there was a brain tumor month?
I did.
But really, how are you? Are you
I feel
okay?
great. So let's discuss.
Okay.
All right. Well, first of all, it is Brain Tumor Awareness Month, and it's a time that we are raising awareness about brain tumors and recognizing that there's this physical, emotional, financial toll that it can take on families. And there's a lot of uncertainty from navigating the treatment options to supporting loved ones during challenging needs. And the reality, in my experience, which is limited, but I also have friends who have brain tumors because it's contagious. I'm kidding. It's not contagious. It's not contagious. When you have these things, you joke about them inappropriately and make everyone uncomfortable.
Goodness.
But
get
my tumor is what's called a meningioma, and it's a non-cancerous brain tumor. And we've been watching it for about
such a blessing.
5
if
years.
You're going to have it.
It is an absolute blessing. I have a history of cancer, so that was something we were watching. And last June, almost a year ago, doctors came to me and said, "Hey, this thing's growing too big. We are concerned, and it's not an option for surgery because of where it is. It's just really snug in there." And so they said, "You have to have brain radiation." So I did that in December of this past year. Fast forward, the goal has been to stunt the growth and maybe shrink the tumor if possible, and keep the tissue around it healthy. And I got news this past week that all happened.
Oh, that it all happened.
My gosh.
Oh my
That is really
gosh.
wonderful
That's
to
the
hear.
best
So-
news. Thank God.
From me not being preachy, Tina, my perspective, like literally praise God. I mean, it has not only been stunted, it has shrunk. And from a volumetric perspective, the shrinkage is pretty substantial. It's still there, but
And
the
that was
shrinkage
from
is great.
the medicine.
It's
Or
from the
the
radiation. But here's what I think people need to understand, and I've had several conversations about this. When you have a brain tumor, it is different. I've had tumors in my breast with breast cancer. I've had breast cancer twice. I've had a brain surgery. I've had all kinds of colon resection and lost babies and all the things. My husband's had a lot of health issues too. With the brain tumor, you can't see it. And so it gives me an empathetic perspective for my friends who do have brain tumors that are cancerous, for our guests at Joy's house and other people I meet that have maybe even a traumatic brain injury, maybe not a tumor, but a traumatic brain injury or dementia or things like that are brain centric, because we can meet on the street and you have no clue that I spent 5 consecutive days, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in a mask that was so tight on my face, it left, marks. And I had to go into an MRI machine locked, or the radiation machine locked in. And I have to have MRIs every handful of months where I have to put a head cage on and go in. It sucks, you guys. When people are like, "Oh, I had to have my ankle MRI'd and I hated it," I'm like,
Yeah.
Because try putting your head
in a
lock,
tight
or
cage.
putting one of those, looks like a goalie mask on to go in for radiation, and it's your brain. And so, Noah, I'm so glad that you brought this, brain tumor awareness month to us, because there are so many people. I think my point in saying this, and we can talk a little bit more about the brain tumors, and this is in my book. So if it sounds preachy to you in this way, or familiar, I know you've read the book, but we all have scars. We have all got something wrong with us. We all have a diagnosis or a challenge or a family member or whatever.
Everybody's going through something, and we don't know.
We don't know. Mm-hmm. We're quick to judge. We're quick to be bitey and testy about things. And, it would be really dangerous and overwhelming if we could get into each other's spirits and minds to know what's going on. But wouldn't it be nice in those moments when you're thinking like, "Ugh, that woman was such a jerk who was serving us at lunch," or "that guy flipped me off, driving down the road."
Yeah.
Well, you don't know what's going on with them.
I know.
So
It's hard to do that. But to get there I think if you get there, it's got to be good for you to
Right?
get to that space where you don't judge every person and everything for something.
But we all forget it. We all forget it.
It's human nature and it happens, but
Yeah.
be amazing if we stop that.
If we could be just a little bit kinder,
So you
So,
have good news when
I
it
have
comes
great
to
news.
the tumor in your brain.
I have great news. Mine's the best possible scenario for what it is. I can have radiation again in the future. But, for my brothers and sisters out there who don't have as good of news or don't know right now, or you're in that wave of uncertainty, brain tumors that's a common thing too, Noah. And I think you pointed that out to us preparing for the show. Like, brain tumors aren't always cancerous, but people have said to me like, "Oh, I can't imagine how it feels having brain cancer." I'm like, no, cancel. I don't have
Not true. No.
I don't have that, but it can be cancerous. It can be non-cancerous. It can impact your speech. I have a friend who has a brain tumor at the base of her skull, and it affects her tongue. When she sticks her tongue out, takes a sharp left, I think is what it does.
Oh, wow.
So it can affect, your speech, your swallowing, your memory, your personality, movement. It just depends on where it is. The brain is the center of everything. And so if you have, or your loved one has, headaches that seem out of the norm, or they're maybe too often, there's some confusion that can't be explained. Their vision changes are often a big one as well, or these mood shifts. And I don't just mean, hey, Terry's a little crabby today. You crabby today?
Not today.
Are you now? But they can be early signs, and early detection is really, really critical for that. So I know, Noah, you've got some statistics too before we have to go.
Yeah, so nearly 700,000 people in the U.S. are living with a primary brain tumor right now. And another fact is actually the brain tumors are the most common solid cancer in children. Yeah, so it's a very, very prevalent form of cancer in our society, and definitely a good thing that we're making aware.
700,000 people in the United States. We were just talking about how you would never know some of them. 700,000 walking around with this. Right. Key takeaways for the caregivers, for you. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. Ask for help, as we've said before. Take breaks when you can, and remember that your well-being really matters too. Don't ever forget that for whatever you're doing as a caregiver. And sharing your story, even the hard parts, they can certainly connect you to others who truly understand. All right, that's what we've got. Let's see, check on our time. Tina, you want to take us out?
Yeah, I mean, as we close today, we want to remind you that we want to hear from you. We want you to tell us what you want on the show. Maybe what you don't want on the show, be nice. But we want to hear from you. And if you've got resources or you need resources, connect with us. You can call us at 317-254-0828, 317-254-0828. Before we go, we do want to thank our friends at Cardon and Associates. Noah, can you tell us about them?
I will. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest, and more than 4 decades of senior living experience, Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Until next time, everybody take good care of each other.
Bye-bye.